The conference room smells like expensive coffee and betrayal. I am sitting at the long oak table, my hands folded in my lap. Dave Rhodes, my manager, slides a thick packet of paper toward me. He isn't looking at me, he's looking at the CEO, who is nodding with a cold, distant expression. Bethany, we've reviewed your work from the last quarter, Dave says, his voice loud enough for the interns in the hallway to hear. To be honest, it's embarrassing. Your math is off, your reports are late, and the company has lost nearly $1 million under your watch. This is your performance improvement plan. Sign it, or leave today without a dime. My heart does a slow, painful thud against my ribs. I've worked 60-hour weeks for 3 years. I built their accounting system from scratch. I know my math is perfect. I look around the room, but my coworkers are staring at their shoes. They know Dave is lying, but they are too afraid of him to speak. I didn't lose that money, Dave, I say quietly. My voice is steady, even though my insides are shaking. The budget shortfall came from the offshore accounts you approved last month. Dave laughs, a sharp, ugly sound. See? This is exactly the kind of deteriorating performance I'm talking about. Making up stories to cover your tracks. You have 1 week to fix these errors or you're finished. Get out of my sight. I stand up, picking up the PIP. I can feel the heat of humiliation on my neck. As I walk out, I see Dave smirk at the CEO. They think they've found their scapegoat. They think I'm just a quiet girl who will go away quietly. They have no idea who they are dealing with. Before we continue, I would like to know where you're watching from in the comments section. Also hit the subscribe button and share this video, as this will help this video to travel far so others can learn also. I grew up in a house where we didn't have much, so I learned early on that if you want something, you have to work twice as hard as everyone else. I'm a senior accountant at Thorne & Associates Interior Design. Or at least, I was until Dave Thorne decided I was the perfect person to blame for his own greed. Dave joined the company a year ago. He's the kind of man who wears suits that cost more than my car and smiles only when a camera is on him. He didn't get the job because he's good at business, he got it because his uncle is on the board. Since he arrived, money has been vanishing like water in a desert. I am a background person. I like spreadsheets because numbers don't lie. They don't have egos, and they don't try to ruin your life to save their own. I've spent my life being the person who fixes things behind the scenes while people like Dave take the credit. But being quiet doesn't mean being weak. My father always told me that the person who listens the most usually has the most power. Dave thinks I'm a victim because I didn't scream at him in that meeting. He thinks I'm going home to cry. I'm not going home to cry. I'm going home to open my laptop. I have a copy of every ledger I've ever touched saved on a private, encrypted drive. Dave thinks he can delete my work and replace it with his lies. He forgets that I'm the one who built the server he's standing on. When I get back to my cubicle, my heart sinks. My plant is gone. My framed picture of my parents is gone. There is a single cardboard box sitting on my chair. Dave didn't even wait for me to finish the meeting before he had the cleaning crew pack my life into a box. Corporate policy for those on a PIP, a voice sneers behind me. It's Dave. He's leaning against the wall, checking his gold watch. We can't have low performers cluttering up the professional workspace. You can work from the supply room in the basement for the next week. If you survive the week, you get your desk back. A supply room. In the basement. It's a move designed to break my spirit. He wants me to quit so the company doesn't have to pay me unemployment or severance. He wants me to feel small so I don't look too closely at the numbers he's trying to hide. I pick up the box. It's heavier than it looks. The basement is fine, Dave, I say, looking him directly in the eyes. It's quieter down there. I'll be able to focus much better on finding out where that $1 million actually went. His smile falters for a split second. A tiny spark of fear flashes in his eyes before he covers it with his usual mask of arrogance. Don't get ahead of yourself, Bethany. Just try to get the basic addition right for once. I walk toward the elevator. The office is silent as I pass. People I've eaten lunch with for years turn away. It's amazing how fast you become a ghost when the boss decides you're a problem. But as the elevator doors close, I feel a strange sense of calm. The war has started, and for the first time, I know exactly where the enemy is. The basement room is cold and smells like old paper. I've been here for 12 hours, staring at the PIP requirements. Dave has asked me to reconcile accounts that I know are fake. He's trying to lead me into a trap where I sign off on his fraud. I'm at my apartment, trying to sleep, when my phone buzzes on the nightstand. It's 3:12 a.m. My heart jumps into my throat. Only bad news happens at 3 a.m. I look at the screen. It's an unknown number. Hello? I whisper, my voice thick with sleep. Bethany? It's Arthur. From the night shift. Arthur is the head security guard. He's 65 years old and has worked at the building since before I was born. Every night when I worked late, I'd bring him a fresh donut or a sandwich. We'd talk about his grandkids and my dreams of opening my own firm. He's the only person in that building who ever truly saw me. Arthur? Is everything okay? I ask, sitting up in bed. It's your manager, Thorne, Arthur says, his voice low and urgent. He's in your old office. He's got the industrial shredder running. He's been here for an hour, dumping files. He thinks I'm on my rounds, but I'm watching the camera feed. He's acting like a man who's trying to bury a body. My blood runs cold. The files in my office were the original receipts from the design vendors. If those are gone, there is no way to prove he's been overcharging the clients and pocketing the difference. Arthur, can you stop him? I ask. I can't stop a manager from being in his own office, Arthur sighs. But Bethany, the cleaning crew hasn't come yet. The shredder bins are full, and he just threw a USB drive into the heavy-duty bin. If you get here now, I can let you in the back. I don't even change out of my sweatpants. I throw on a heavy coat and drive to the office in record time. The streets are empty, the city lights blurred by a light rain. My mind is racing. If I can get those shredded strips, I can prove Dave was destroying evidence. I pull into the alleyway behind the Thorne building. The heavy steel door creaks open, and Arthur is standing there. He looks worried. He hands me 2 large, heavy black trash bags. I emptied the shredder bin into these the second he walked out to get coffee, Arthur whispers. He thinks the bin is empty because it's a new bag. And here. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small, mangled piece of plastic. It's a USB drive, snapped in half. He tried to break it, but it's a rugged one. A tech person might be able to save it. I take the bags and the drive, my hands shaking. Arthur, you could lose your job for this. Why are you helping me? He looks at me with a sad smile. I've watched people like Dave Rhodes my whole life, Bethany. They think they own the world because they have a fancy title. But people like you, you're the ones who keep the lights on. You treated me like a human being when everyone else walked past me like I was a piece of furniture. It's time someone stood up for the good guys. I hug him, tears stinging my eyes. Thank you, Arthur. You have no idea what this means. Go, he says, shooing me toward my car. He'll be back soon. And Bethany? Make it count. Don't just get him fired. End him. I drive away, the weight of the trash bags in my backseat feeling like the most important thing in the world. The long game has officially begun. I get back to my apartment and dump the contents of the bags onto my kitchen floor. It's a mountain of white paper strips. Millions of them. Most people would look at this and see trash. I look at it and see a puzzle. I spend the next 6 hours on my hands and knees. I'm not trying to put every page together, that would take years. I'm looking for specific colors. Our firm uses blue ink for bank stamps and red ink for overdue notices. I find a strip with a sliver of a logo. The Rosewood Foundation. That's the CEO's private charity. My heart starts to pound. Why was Dave shredding documents related to the CEO's charity? I find another strip. It has a date and a dollar amount, $250,000. This wasn't just a manager stealing from the company. This was a partnership. Dave was the cleaner for the CEO. They were moving company profits into the charity, then spending that money on fake consulting fees that went straight back into their own pockets. Then I look at the broken USB drive. The casing is cracked, but the internal chip looks okay. I remember a friend from college who specializes in data recovery. I send him a text, I need a miracle. How fast can you fix a snap drive? He replies instantly, for you? 2 days. Bring it over at dawn. I look at the clock. It's 6:30 a.m. I have to be at work in 2 hours. I'm exhausted, my back hurts, and I smell like trash, but I feel more alive than I have in months. Dave thinks he's won because the paper is in strips. He doesn't realize that I've always been good at putting things back together. I walk into the office at 8:30 a.m. sharp. I've showered, put on my best blazer, and I'm carrying a large Starbucks latte. I look like a woman who hasn't a care in the world. As I pass the main desk, I see Dave. He looks terrible. He has dark circles under his eyes and his tie is crooked. He probably spent the rest of the night looking for that USB drive he lost. Good morning, Dave. I say, my voice bright and cheerful. It's a beautiful day to improve my performance, don't you think? He stares at me, confused. He was expecting me to crawl in, broken and defeated. Instead, I'm glowing. You're late, he snaps, though I'm actually 5 minutes early. My apologies, I say with a small, polite smile. I'll make up the time in the basement. I've actually already started on the reconciliation for the Rosewood accounts. I think I'm really starting to see how you organize things. His face goes pale. He grips his coffee cup so hard I think the plastic might crack. The Rosewood accounts aren't your concern, Bethany. Stick to the list I gave you. Oh, but they are. I chirped. The PIP says I need to show a comprehensive understanding of firm-wide cash flow. I just want to do a good job, Dave. I don't want to disappoint you again. I walk toward the basement stairs, feeling his eyes burning into my back. I know he's panicking. He's wondering how much I know. He's wondering if he missed something in the shredder. I settle into my cold basement office and open my laptop. I'm not doing the work he assigned me. I'm writing a very long, very detailed email to an anonymous tip line at the IRS. But I'm not sending it yet. I need the contents of that USB drive first. By noon, Dave has sent his assistant, a young guy named Leo, down to the basement. Leo is a nice kid, but he's terrified of Dave. Dave wants me to, monitor your screen, Leo says, looking at the floor. He says he wants to make sure you're staying on task. Of course, Leo, I say, pulling up a chair for him. I'd love the company. I know exactly what Dave is doing. He wants to see if I'm looking at files I shouldn't be. So, I give him exactly what he wants to see. I open the public ledger, the one Dave doctored. I start pointing out errors that Dave purposely put there to frame me. Look at this, Leo, I say, pointing to a $50,000 entry. I must have mistyped this. It says it went to office supplies, but that's way too high. I'm going to dig into the server logs to see when I made this mistake. I need to take full responsibility. Leo nods, typing notes on his tablet. He thinks I'm being a good employee. What he doesn't realize is that by searching for my mistakes, I am legally accessing the server logs that show Dave's login ID was the one that actually moved the money. I'm doing this right in front of Leo. If Dave ever tries to say I hacked the system, I have a witness who will testify that I was just trying to follow my PIP. I'm using their own trap to build my cage for them. Every time Leo reports back to Dave that I'm finding my errors, Dave will feel safer. He'll think I'm falling for it. He'll think I'm stupid. And that is exactly what I want him to think. Leo leaves for lunch, and my phone buzzes. It's a message from my tech friend. I'm in. Bethany, you're not going to believe what's on this drive. It's not just spreadsheets. It's photos. I feel a chill go down my spine. What kind of photos? I type back. Photos of checks, he replies. And photos of a second set of books. Handwritten. It looks like Dave was keeping a record of every dollar he sent to the CEO so the CEO couldn't back out of their deal. It's blackmail material. This is better than I ever imagined. Dave wasn't just a partner in crime, he was a paranoid one. He didn't trust the CEO, so he kept proof of everything. That USB drive was his insurance policy. And now, it's mine. I look at the strips of paper on my desk that I brought from home. I've managed to piece together a signature from one of the consulting contracts. It's the CEO's signature, but it's dated for a Sunday. A day the office is closed. Everything is clicking into place. The company isn't just failing because of bad luck. It's being bled dry. The budget shortfall Dave blamed me for was actually the money they used to buy the CEO's new yacht and Dave's luxury condo. I look at the cold stone walls of the basement. I've worked so hard for this company. I've stayed late, missed holidays, and put my soul into these numbers. And they were using me as a shield for their crimes. I feel a surge of cold, hard anger. It's not the kind of anger that makes you scream. It's the kind that makes you very, very calm. I'm going to take it all down. Not just Dave. The whole thing. It's Wednesday. 2 days until my final review. Dave calls me into his office. He's looking much more confident now. Leo must have told him that I'm admitting to all the mistakes. I'm glad to see you're taking this seriously, Bethany, Dave says, leaning back in his leather chair. I've prepared a final statement. It's a confession of your errors. If you sign it on Friday, we'll let you resign quietly. No police, no lawsuits. We'll even give you a month of severance. He pushes a piece of paper toward me. It's a legal confession. If I sign this, I'm admitting to stealing $4 million. I would go to prison, and he would walk away a hero who caught the thief. This is a lot of money, Dave, I say, my voice trembling slightly, just enough to make him think I'm scared. Are you sure this is the only way? It's the only way you stay out of handcuffs, Bethany, he says, his voice dropping to a low, threatening hiss. I have the board in my pocket. I have the CEO on my side. You're just a girl in the basement. Who do you think they'll believe? I look at the paper. I see the greed in his eyes. He's so sure he's won. He thinks he's the smartest person in the room. I'll think about it, I say, standing up. I'll have my answer for you on Friday morning. Good choice, he says. And Bethany? Don't try anything stupid. I'm watching you. As I leave his office, I tap the record button on my phone. I've got the whole conversation. The threat, the bribe, the arrogance. I go back to the basement and send one final email. It's to the FBI's Financial Crimes Division. Attached are the server logs, the reconstructed documents, the photos from the USB drive, and the recording of Dave's threat. Subject, multi-million-dollar fraud at Thorne and Associates. Evidence attached. The next morning, an HR representative named Diane comes down to the basement. She's always been nice in that fake, corporate way. She brings me a muffin and sits on the edge of my cluttered desk. Bethany, honey, I heard about the PIP, Diane says, her voice full of pity. It's just such a shame. You were always such a hard worker. But Dave showed me the numbers, it looks really bad. I look at the muffin. I know Diane is Dave's friend. They go to the same country club. She's not here to help me, she's here to see if I'm going to go quietly or if I'm going to make a scene. I know, Diane, I say, putting on my best broken face. I just don't know how I could have made so many mistakes. I feel like I've lost my mind. Maybe you just need a fresh start, Diane suggests, leaning in. If you sign that paper Dave gave you, all of this goes away. You can go home, rest, and find a job that's a better fit for your abilities. My abilities. She thinks I'm a failure. She thinks she's helping Dave bury me. I think you're right, I say, wiping a fake tear from my eye. I'll probably sign it tomorrow. I just want this nightmare to be over. Diane beams. She pats my hand and stands up. That's my girl. I'll tell Dave you're being cooperative. It's for the best, really. As she walks away, I toss the muffin in the trash. I don't need her pity, and I certainly don't need her advice. Every person in this building who thinks they are winning right now is actually just tying their own noose. They think I'm the one in a nightmare. They have no idea that the sun is about to go down on their entire world. I spend Thursday afternoon doing something very specific. I'm not working on the PIP. I'm gathering my legacy. I go through the company's digital archives and pull every single design project I've managed the finances for. I print out the thank you letters from clients who loved our work. I print out the awards the firm won because of the budgets I managed so carefully. I'm not taking these to save my job. I'm taking them because when this company collapses, I want proof that I was the one who was good at the work. I want a portfolio that shows I am not the person Dave says I am. I also send a message to Arthur. Arthur, are you working tomorrow morning? He replies, I wouldn't miss it for the world. The delivery you asked for is ready. The delivery is a set of high-resolution printouts of the security footage from 3 a.m. on Monday. It clearly shows Dave Thorne entering the office, using the shredder, and looking panicked. It's the final nail in the coffin. I pack my few remaining things into my bag. I look around the supply room one last time. It's a dark, dusty hole, but it's been the perfect place to plan a revolution. I feel a strange sense of peace. I've done everything right. I played by their rules until I realized the rules were rigged. Now, I'm playing by mine. I walk out of the building at 5 p.m. I don't say goodbye to anyone. I don't look at Dave's office. I just walk to my car, drive home, and set my alarm for 7 a.m. Tomorrow is the day the numbers finally balance. On Friday morning, the air in the office is thick. Everyone knows it's my last day. I walk to the break room to get one last cup of tea. Dave is there with a group of senior designers. When I walk in, the room goes silent. Dave smirks and intentionally sticks his foot out as I pass. I stumble, and my tea splashes onto my shoes. The designers laugh. It's a cruel, high school kind of laugh. Careful there, Bethany, Dave says, his voice dripping with mock concern. We wouldn't want you to trip on your way out. Though I guess you've been tripping over your work for months now, haven't you? I don't say a word. I just stand up, pull a paper towel from the dispenser, and wipe my shoes. I look at the designers, people I've helped with their taxes, people I've covered for when they were sick. They are all laughing. Is something funny? I ask, my voice calm and clear. Just your career, honey, one of the designers sneers. Dave told us everything. How could you be so greedy? Stealing from the firm that gave you everything? They actually believe him. He spun a story that I was the one stealing. The irony is so thick I can almost taste it. I didn't steal anything, I say quietly. And I think you'll all find out the truth very soon. Oh, we already know the truth, Dave says, stepping closer to me. The truth is you're a nobody. And by noon today, you'll be a nobody with a criminal record. Now get to the boardroom. The CEO is waiting. I turn and walk away. I can hear them laughing behind me. I let them. Arrogance is a very loud emotion. It prevents you from hearing the footsteps of the people coming to arrest you. I sit in the boardroom. It's 9 a.m. Dave is there, Diane from HR is there, and the CEO, a man named Mr. Sterling, is sitting at the head of the table. He's wearing a suit that probably costs more than my annual salary. Bethany, Mr. Sterling says, his voice deep and commanding. Dave has shown me the evidence. I am deeply disappointed. I treated you like family. You treated me like a tool, Mr. Sterling, I say. And when the tool found out you were using the Rosewood Foundation to launder money, you decided to throw it away. The room goes dead silent. Dave's face turns a shade of purple I've never seen before. Mr. Sterling's eyes turn into ice. That is a very dangerous accusation, young lady, Sterling whispers. Do you have any idea what we can do to you? I know what the law can do to you, I reply. I am a registered whistleblower now. I've already spoken to the authorities. Everything you've done, the kickbacks, the fake consulting fees, the offshore transfers, it's all documented. And Dave, I have the USB drive you tried to destroy. The one with the photos of the checks. Dave lunges across the table, his hand reaching for my throat. You lying little. Stop! Diane screams. But it's too late. The door to the boardroom bursts open. It isn't the police. Not yet. It's a team of 6 people in dark suits carrying heavy equipment. Who are you? Mr. Sterling demands, standing up. This is a private meeting. Special Agent Miller, IRS Criminal Investigation, a woman says, flashing a badge. And this is the FBI Financial Crimes Task Force. We have a federal warrant to seize all servers, hard drives, and physical ledgers belonging to Thorne and Associates and the Rosewood Foundation. Dave falls back into his chair. He looks like he's having a heart attack. We also have warrants for the arrest of Dave Rhodes and Julian Sterling for conspiracy to commit wire fraud, tax evasion, and money laundering, the agent continues. This is a mistake. Sterling shouts. Bethany is the one you want. She's the accountant. She did all of this. Agent Miller looks at me, then back at Sterling. Actually, sir, Bethany is the one who provided the evidence. She's been working with us for the last 48 hours. Every error she pointed out in her PIP was actually a roadmap for our investigation. She didn't just find the money, she tracked it to your personal accounts. I stand up. I feel 10 feet tall. I look at Dave, who is trembling so hard his teeth are chattering. I told you I'd find out where the money went, Dave, I say. It turns out, it went exactly where I thought it did. The office is in total chaos. Agents are everywhere. Employees are being escorted out of the building. The last supper of Thorne and Associates is over. I watch as they put handcuffs on Dave. He's crying now. Not a brave, I'll get you kind of cry, but a messy, pathetic sob. He looks at me, pleading with his eyes, but I don't feel anything. No pity, no anger. Just a sense of completion. Mr. Sterling is being led out too. He's trying to hide his face with his jacket, but the news cameras are already outside. Arthur must have tipped them off. As they lead Dave past me, he whispers, "Why? Why didn't you just take the severance and go?" "Because you tried to take my name," I say. "You can take my desk, you can take my job, and you can even take my tea. But my reputation is the only thing I truly own. And I wasn't going to let you ruin it just so you could buy a nicer condo. Diane from HR is sitting in the corner, her head in her hands. She realizes now that by helping Dave, she's an accessory. She'll probably lose her license. The designers who laughed at me are standing in the hallway, looking terrified. They realize their paychecks are gone. The company is finished. The prestige they loved so much was built on a foundation of lies. I walk to the elevator. Agent Miller stops me. Bethany? We'll need you for a formal statement on Monday. But for now, go home. You did a brave thing. I didn't do it to be brave, I say. I did it because I'm an accountant. And I hate it when the numbers don't add up. I spend the next day watching the news. Thorne and Associates collapses amid federal fraud probe. The reports say it's one of the biggest financial scandals in the city's history. They talk about the Rosewood Foundation and how it was used to steal from charities. They mention a brave whistleblower who uncovered it all. My phone is blowing up. Coworkers are texting me, apologizing, asking if I know anything. I don't answer. I've already deleted their numbers. I drive to the office one last time. Not to go inside, but to meet Arthur. He's standing on the sidewalk, watching the agents carry boxes out of the building. He's wearing a plain jacket, he's been laid off like everyone else, but he looks happy. We did it, Bethany, he says, shaking my hand. We did, I say. I reach into my bag and hand him an envelope. It's $5,000, the last of my savings. I know you're out of a job, Arthur. I want you to have this until your pension kicks in. I can't take this, he says, shaking his head. Please, I insist. You saved my life that night. And don't worry. If the whistleblower settlement comes through, I'm going to make sure you never have to worry about money again. He looks at me, his eyes moist. You're a good person, Bethany. Don't let this place change that. I won't, I promise. I look up at the building. The gold letters of Thorne and Associates are being scraped off the glass. It's a beautiful sight. I thought the story was over. I thought Dave and Sterling were the only ones. But on Monday morning, Agent Miller calls me back into the FBI field office. Bethany, we found something else on that USB drive, she says. Her face is grim. Something you didn't see because it was in an encrypted subfolder. My heart skips a beat. What is it? It's a list of partners, she says, sliding a paper across the table. Thorne and Sterling weren't just stealing for themselves. They were paying off members of the state licensing board to ignore their unorthodox accounting. And Bethany, your name is on the list of people who received a bonus from the Rosewood Foundation 2 years ago. I stare at the paper. There it is. Bethany Miller, $50,000. I never got that money. I scream. I've never even had $50,000 in my life. We know, Miller says, holding up a hand. We tracked the bank account. It was opened in your name, with a forged signature, but the money was immediately transferred to a shell company owned by Dave's wife. My jaw drops. He didn't just try to frame me on Friday. He'd been setting me up for years. He had a paper trail that made it look like I'd been taking bribes since the day I started. This is why the PIP was so important to them, Miller explains. They needed you to sign that confession so they could close the loop. If you had signed it, we wouldn't have looked any further. We would have assumed you were the mastermind and they were just the unlucky owners who didn't notice. The level of evil makes me feel sick. He didn't just want to fire me. He wanted me to go to prison for his wife's shopping habits. But wait, I say, my mind racing. If the money went to Dave's wife, that means the shell company is in her name, right? Yes, Miller says. But we can't prove she knew where the money came from. She's claiming she thought it was a legal inheritance. I smile. A cold, sharp smile. No, she didn't. Check the office supplies folder I flagged in the server logs. Dave was sending her emails from his work account. He used a code. He called the money blue paint. Every time a transfer went through, he'd email her and say, "The blue paint is in the garage." Miller's eyebrows shoot up. She turns to a technician. Get into the Rhodes server logs. Search for blue paint. 5 minutes later, the technician looks up. We got it. Hundreds of emails. And here's one from his wife. The blue paint bought me a beautiful diamond necklace today. Let's get more blue paint next month. The inheritance lie was dead. Dave had tried to be clever by using a code, but he was too arrogant to realize that a girl who spends all day looking at spreadsheets notices when a company spends $4 million on blue paint but the walls are still beige. I've just handed the FBI Dave's wife. Now he has no one left to protect him, and no one left to hide the money for him. He's going to lose every single thing he ever cared about. While Dave is rotting in a cell, Mr. Sterling decides to try one last desperate move. He calls for a deal. He offers to testify against Dave in exchange for a lighter sentence. I didn't know the extent of it, Sterling tells the cameras as he leaves the courthouse on bail. Dave Thorne was a rogue element. He manipulated the books. I was a victim of his charm. He thinks he's going to get away with it. He thinks he can pin everything on his nephew and walk away with his mansion and his reputation. But Sterling forgot one thing. I didn't just give the FBI the books. I gave them the security footage. I meet Agent Miller again. Did you look at the footage from the hallway outside the boardroom? I ask. We did, she says. Why? Look at the timestamp for 3 weeks ago. The night the $1 million deficit was first recorded. Dave leaves Sterling's office at midnight. He's carrying a briefcase. Sterling follows him out, pats him on the back, and hands him a key. Miller pulls up the footage. There it is. A clear, high-definition shot of the CEO handing a key to Dave. That's the key to the offshore safety deposit box in the Caymans, I say. I found the registration for that key in the shredded strips. The box is registered to Julian Sterling. Not Dave. Sterling wasn't a victim. He was the boss. Dave was just the errand boy. With that footage and the key registration, Sterling's deal is rejected. He is rearrested within the hour. No bail this time. They are going to trial, and they are going to lose. A week later, I stand across the street from the building. It's being auctioned off. The furniture, the computers, even the expensive oak table from the boardroom, it's all being sold to pay back the creditors and the taxes they stole. I see Leo, the assistant. He looks tired, but he sees me and walks over. Hey, Bethany, he says. I just wanted to say. I'm sorry. For monitoring your screen. For not saying anything. It's okay, Leo, I say. You were just trying to keep your job. I got a new one, he says with a small smile. At a non-profit. The pay isn't as good, but I can sleep at night. And Bethany? Everyone knows it was you. You're a legend in the accounting world now. I don't want to be a legend, I say. I just want to be an accountant. He laughs. I think you're a bit more than that. As I drive away, I see the Thorne logo being loaded into a trash truck. A company that took 30 years to build was destroyed in 7 days because they thought a quiet girl wouldn't fight back. It's a powerful lesson. Never mistake silence for weakness. Silence is often just the sound of someone thinking of a way to win. I get a call from the prison. It's Dave. He's allowed one phone call, and for some reason, he chose me. Bethany, he says. His voice is cracked. He sounds like an old man. Please. Talk to the FBI. Tell them I was pressured. Tell them Sterling made me do it. My wife, she's being charged too. We have kids, Bethany. Please. I listened to him breathe on the other end of the line. I remember him sticking his foot out to trip me. I remember him calling me a nobody. I remember him trying to put me in prison for a crime he committed. Do you remember what you said to me on Monday, Dave? I ask. I said a lot of things, he stammers. You said it's just business, I remind him. You said that framing me was just the price of doing business. Well, Dave, this is just the audit. And it turns out, your life is in the red. You're a monster, he whispers. No, I say. I'm just the person who balanced the books. Goodbye, Dave. Don't call me again. I hang up. I feel a weight lift off my shoulders that I didn't even know I was carrying. The revenge isn't the handcuffs or the news stories. The revenge is knowing that he knows I am the reason he lost. He has to live the rest of his life knowing that the nobody was the one who was smarter than him. 6 months pass. The trials are over. Dave and Sterling are sentenced to 15 years each. Dave's wife gets 5 years of probation and has to return every penny she spent. The Rosewood Foundation is dissolved, and the money is returned to the charities it was stolen from. I am sitting in my new office. It's small, but the windows are big, and the walls are a beautiful, bright white. On the door, it says, Bethany Miller, CPA. I started my own firm. I have 12 clients already, all of them former clients of Thorne and Associates who reached out to me because they knew I was the only one they could trust. My phone pings. It's a notification from my bank. My jaw drops. The whistleblower settlement. Because I helped recover over $10 million in stolen taxes and assets, the government has awarded me a percentage of the recovery. The number is more than I would have earned in 30 years at Thorne. I'm not a millionaire, but I am free. I can pay off my parents' mortgage. I can send Arthur's grandkids to college. I can live a life where I never have to worry about a man like Dave Rhodes ever again. I call my parents. When I tell them the news, my mom cries. We were so worried about you, Bethany, she says. When you told us about that basement, we wanted you to come home. I know, Mom, I say. But I had to finish the job. I had to prove that being a good person doesn't mean being a doormat. We are so proud of you, my dad says. Not because of the money, but because you didn't let them break your spirit. I hang up and look at my ledger. My first month of business is in the black. Every dollar is accounted for. Every cent is earned. I take a deep breath of the clean, fresh air in my office. I think about all the girls out there who are quiet, who work hard in the background, who feel like they are being walked on by people like Dave. I wish I could tell them, keep working. Keep watching. And keep your own set of books. Your time will come. The numbers always balance in the end. It just takes someone with the patience to find the truth. I'm on vacation. A real one. I'm sitting on a balcony overlooking the ocean. The sun is warm on my face, and the only thing I have to calculate is how many hours I can spend reading my book. My laptop is closed. For the first time in my life, I don't feel the need to check a spreadsheet. I get a LinkedIn request. I open it. It's from Dave Rhodes' wife. She's out on probation and she's looking for work. She sent me a message, Bethany, I know we had our differences, but I always respected your work. Could you give me a reference? I stare at the screen. The audacity is almost impressive. She really thinks that because time has passed, I'll forget. I don't get angry. I don't even feel the urge to write a mean reply. I simply click the block button. I don't need to give her a reference. The FBI already gave her one, and it's a matter of public record. I close my eyes and listen to the waves. I am Bethany Miller. I am a senior accountant. I am a business owner. And I am a survivor. The company is gone. The villains are in jail. And I am exactly where I belong. In the light.